And now we have finally come to the Ninth Symphony. It's very difficult to say anything about Beethoven's Ninth Symphony. I would argue there has been said too much already, and many of the things that has been said have been maybe not honoring the actual depth that this piece has. Because many people, they directly, even on their record player, they jump to the last movement, which obviously has the big final chorus, which is wonderful and everything. But to me, this symphony is so important to everyone, to humanity, and to me personally, because it's not only the high point of Beethoven's creation, it's also something completely different. It's the first symphony in the world where you have a chorus in the last movement. It's the first symphony where you have it. But it also sums up everything that we have experienced with Beethoven before. I have said a few times that I believe that all his symphonies, whether he meant it or not, is almost a search for the meaning of life, or why are we here? And to me, here he really comes to the basics of this. The first movement begins very mysterious, with almost small seeds growing. And suddenly it bursts into some almost brutality. And to me, Beethoven tries to almost depict life, saying, what I want to talk about now is life. Life beginning, the elements moving, something creating itself, maybe. Or is there something creating it? In Beethoven's case, it feels almost like he now believes that there might be something that has created something. But if there's something that has created everything, that's the way I will direct my frustration towards. That's what he says. And he does it in this movement, first movement, where he again and again says, why? And you hear it very clearly in this force within the music. He really, it's almost like he blames someone for all this miserable thing that is called life. In the second movement, something unexpected happens, because it's what you call a scherzo in 3, but it comes as the second movement instead of the third movement. Normally it would be the third movement. I believe it's a part of the narrative that he tries to create. And if it's a minuet, it would most often be a royal dance, a courtly dance. But a scherzo is more on the countryside. It represents in some way the normal people. And so far in his scherzos, Beethoven has been quite positive towards what we can call the simple people, the country people, who doesn't have many worries. I think he almost admired people who didn't have worries, because he was so worried himself all the time. Now comes this scherzo. Almost like slaps in the face. to me, it represents a way to say, if you want, live the rest of your life without thinking about why we are here. I'm not gonna do that. Then comes the third movement, and this is, in this symphony, the slow movement. And I think that Beethoven has never composed a more beautiful piece of music, in my opinion. It is truly beauty, almost as if he says, I know I was very aggressive, I know I was very pessimistic, but there is something to be thankful for still. At least we have music, and it is pure, beautiful music. That just a simple thank you. In the last movement, everything is very strange. So strange in the beginning that we have what we call a recitativo. In between these recitativos are small snippets of each of the three previous movements. In my opinion, I think what Beethoven is doing here is that the bass and the cellos represent the main figure. Maybe Beethoven himself, maybe just humanity in its purest form, asking the question of why. And it's both beautiful and mysterious, but all these bass and cello recitativos end with a question mark. And the first time, he then quotes the first movement. After the first question mark, then comes the first movement he quotes. And then he says, okay, that was not the answer. Then comes the second movement, that wasn't the answer. Then comes the third movement, also not the answer. And then at some point, suddenly comes this beautiful melody. Suddenly Beethoven has composed a really wonderful melody. And it comes softly in the woodwinds first. And the bass and cellos are like, they are almost saying, is it that simple? It's just you and me and us? That's the answer to it all? Actually us, we, humanity, is the answer. And then the woodwinds say, yeah, it's that simple. And then the strings say, okay, then let's try it. And then comes this theme that is then later developed for a full chorus, and which is basically just a song saying, let's be brothers, let's stick together, let's not make wars, let's enjoy to be here on this planet together, and most importantly, together. And that is the final point in Beethoven's symphonic works. And I think it is incredible that he could write something like that, saying togetherness, friendship, when in fact he himself was all alone. So, thank you, Beethoven, wherever you are.